But the real spirituality, if you have, the protection will be always there, and Shiva will be very blissful. He is extremely blissful. And what does he give you is even more beautiful than you could think. He is extremely forgiving. I should say he is the source of forgiveness. If you have forgiveness in your heart, he resides in your heart. Otherwise, gradually you start developing very difficult type of diseases. Say, if you are forgiving, your heart runs very fast. No one can touch your heart. You cannot get heart attacks. But if you are tolerating, suffering, and taking many things as a power of your own, doing wrong things, and forgetting about God, then you also start developing a very weak heart. So one side is that you develop a heart which is extremely aggressive and can become like Hitler's heart. Under any kind of pretensions, if you start torturing someone, your heart becomes solid, and then you can get a tremendous, massive heart attack, and all the troubles from. This is inevitable. But supposing you are extremely tolerant and you tolerate all nonsense, you are very docile, you are a frightened person. If you are frightened and because of fright you do that, you can develop another kind of a heart we call as angina, where the blood supply is less and ultimately you develop a kind of a guilt and you lead a very mediocre life. So this second thing also is very visible among people who think they are very, very tolerant. I am saying that tolerance is all right because of spirituality, but not because you are frightened and you are afraid of something. If you are a Sahajogi, you have no business to be afraid of anything. In India, people are afraid of everything. If they see a squirrel, they'll be frightened. If they see a lizard, finished. I mean, they are afraid of anything. And the ladies of India are so afraid of even cockroaches. This kind of temperament is absolutely stupid, because that makes you a kind of a person who is prone to angina. What is there to be afraid of? If you are a Sahajogi and Sahajogini, you are not to be afraid of it. They are afraid of rats, all kinds of nonsense, and they boast of it. And they talk about it. Here the heart is becoming weak and weak and weak. Also, I must say, the Indian men are responsible for that, because they treat their women as if they are appendages or some sort of a liability. I don't know what they think them to. Their behavior is so bad, unbelievable. Especially in the North India, I have seen women have no position. The woman is brought in the house, kept in the house, just like a maid servant. She has to cover her face all the time. She doesn't have to go out anywhere without permission. It's terrible. Some people say it is the Muslim influence or whatever it is. But when you believe in eternal life, in spiritual life, you should not be governed by any such nonsensical atrocities. And that's why I feel that you really need the emancipation of women in India. They are very good, they are very tolerant, they are very sweet, but they develop all the bad diseases, all the mental diseases, because they don't know their own value, they don't know their own self-respect. And on this I have already spoken at length. Why should men behave like that? Thus, I think in our country we have at least 70% are women. And the 70% people's energy is wasted in the North India. I don't know what they think of themselves. And then they are punished. All such countries can never prosper because women are the Lakshmis. But they have to be Lakshmis also. They have to behave like Lakshmis. But some of them come up like this that you are shocked. How can they be women? They look like devils. So it's such an imbalance in the society, which is punished again by Sri Mahadev. He is very kind and he looks after the people who are suffering. And he tries to punish people who make them suffer. It is his quality to help by destroying people who are aggressive. He doesn't talk of in Kundalini. He doesn't talk of self-realization. He just punishes them nicely in such a bad way that is shocking. And he relieves sometimes people like, I've seen many women who live like this, suffer so much. They die much earlier than their age. All this one has to see in the right perspective. He is there to protect, of course, but more to destroy. He protects all kinds of animals, all birds, all the nature he protects. He is the one who brings all the joy of spirituality. But if you try to become aggressive, then he is the one who will destroy. Sometimes he gives more long rope to her hand. And so people think we are all right, they satisfy themselves. On the contrary, in the West I find the women are ruling the men more than the men. Very surprising. I don't know how they have handled the situation. But they are ruling all the time. And the men have to be under their thumb. I don't know how they have managed it. But they do it. They are not humble. They don't love. And they will go on divorcing their husbands all the time. They do not love. They don't know what is love is. But also, I've seen men don't understand what love is in India. They don't know how to love their wives, which is a life partner. How to respect. They don't understand. There, then comes a great wrath. And this wrath works in so many ways, in creating horrible diseases and in creating problems and problems for such men. And the society also is responsible for doing all kinds of things against humble people. Both ways one has to understand that if you are aggressive, you are under the third eye of Sri Mahadeva. In any way. If you are aggressive, say with your servants. If you are aggressive with your subordinates. If you are aggressive with your children. There is this wrathful God watching, and one can get under the spell of his destruction. But he gives us the great heights of Himalaya. He makes human beings extremely beautiful, very noble. And he wants that people should love each other. There should be pure love among human beings. And also, he makes you very delicately behaving towards other people, very sweetly behaving towards others. If you don't have that, then you are going in the wrong direction. But his greatest thing is that he gives you the height and the depth. If you are worshipping him, then you develop such heights that you see the whole world as a witness.